There was a woman, a schoolteacher, not a mystic, not a philosopher, who had been told three things she believed were permanent facts of her life. That she would never own a home, that the relationship she wanted was gone forever, and that the condition in her body was incurable. One night, she did not pray. She did not affirm. She did not visualize with effort or hope. She lay down right at that age between waking and sleep, and she simply felt what it would feel like to have all three things already in her possession. She heard the words, she felt the warmth, and she fell asleep inside that feeling. Within 7 months, the home appeared. The relationship was restored. The doctor looked at her results and said quietly that he could not explain what had happened. She had not done anything magical. She had not unlocked a secret of the cosmos. She had simply discovered, through practice, through persistence, what I am about to teach you tonight. What she did in those moments before sleep is the most powerful practice in all of my teaching. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly how to do it. I tell you from my own experience, the state akin to sleep is not a technique invented by spiritual teachers. It is not a method fashioned by the modern mind. It is the precise doorway that the ancients called the entrance to the deep, the threshold at which imagination and consciousness meet, where the 4D becomes the operating reality, and where your assumptions are received without resistance. Tonight, I am going to walk you through what this state is, why it works, and exactly how to enter it correctly. I will give you the common errors, the things most people do that prevent the technique from working. And I will take you through a guided experience of the state itself, so that when you lie down tonight, you will know precisely what to do. But first, there is something I must establish about the nature of sleep itself, something that will change the way you understand every night of your life. Sleep is not the absence of consciousness. Sleep is the condition under which consciousness most clearly reveals itself. Every night, without your knowledge, without your effort, without your instruction, you enter a state in which your habitual assumptions about yourself are reinforced. If you assume you are poor, you fall asleep in that assumption. If you assume you are unloved, you fall asleep in that assumption. Unconsciousness, which is the only reality, takes your sleeping assumptions as its instructions and proceeds to build the world you will wake up to. This is not poetry. This is the mechanism by which your life has been shaped, not by accident, not by circumstance, not by the behavior of others, but by what you assumed in the darkness before you lost awareness. Consider what this means for a moment. The person who always seems to land on their feet, who moves through the world as though good things were simply drawn to them, is not luckier than you. They are not more deserving. They have simply, through the habits of a lifetime, fallen asleep in the assumption of favor. Unconsciousness, which knows nothing of luck, knows nothing of merit, only of state, has faithfully delivered to them the world their sleeping assumption demanded. But here is what most people miss entirely. The moments before sleep, that drowsy, heavy, half-waking state, are not the same as sleep itself. They are something more potent. The Greeks called it hypnagogia. I call it the state akin to sleep. In this state, the rational, doubting, objecting mind begins to relax its grip. The censor that spends your waking hours telling you what is possible and what is not begins to dissolve. And in that dissolution, imagination speaks directly to consciousness without interference. Your imaginal acts in this state do not pass through the filter of your doubts. They do not encounter the resistance of your current circumstances. They enter the deep, where the operant power receives them as fact, as already existing states, and begins, through the bridge of incidents, to crystallize them into the world you will experience. Now here is where it becomes even more powerful. Most people attempt to use this state by visualizing, by constructing elaborate mental images of what they want. They see the house, they see the relationship, they see the bank account, and they wonder why nothing changes. Imagination is not the I. Imagination is the whole man. You do not imagine a thing by seeing it. You imagine it by being it, by occupying the state of the person who already has it. The feeling, the security, the quiet certainty of a man or woman for whom the thing desired is simply already so. I am the operant power. Not I will be, not I hope to be, I am. When you enter the state akin to sleep, and you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, not visualize it from outside, but inhabit it from within, you are pressing your assumption into the very clay of consciousness. And consciousness has no choice but to bring it forth. In a moment, I'm going to show you exactly how to enter this state, step by step, with the precision of a technician and the heart of a mystic. But before I do, there is one critical distinction you must understand about what the wish fulfilled actually feels like. And most people get this completely wrong. So let us fix where we are. Sleep is not neutral. The state before sleep is the most powerful creative moment available to you tonight. More powerful than any prayer spoken aloud. More powerful than any technique done in the daylight. The state akin to sleep is the open door. And what you bring through that door, the assumption you carry into the darkness, is received by consciousness as instruction. Now, the question that changes everything. What is the wish fulfilled? Not the image, not the goal, the feeling, the specific, precise quality of feeling that is available to you right now before a single circumstance has changed. I will show you. The woman I told you about at the opening of this video, the school teacher who changed 3 things in 7 months, did not lie down each night and picture her home in perfect detail. She did not run through affirmations about her relationship. She did not imagine medical reports. She felt settled. That is the only word she used when she described it to me. She said, each night before I slept, I felt settled, as though everything I have been asking for was already arranged, settled. Not excited, not desperate, not hopeful, settled. This is the most important thing I will say in this entire video. The wish fulfilled is not a peak feeling. It is not the feeling of getting something. It is the feeling of having something. And the vast, quiet difference between those two states is the difference between the technique working and the technique failing. When you are getting something, there is reaching, there is distance, there is an implicit acknowledgement that the thing is not yet here. When you are having something, there is only the present tense of possession. The ring is already on your finger. The money is already in the account. The conversation with the person you love has already happened. And you rest in that reality, not because it has appeared in the 3D world, but because imagination, your imagination, is the only true reality. The 3D world is simply the shadow of the 4D assumption. I am already it. Not I shall be, not I am becoming, I am. Stop for a moment. Ask yourself right now, what is the specific desire you have been carrying? Not in abstract terms, the specific thing, the person, the amount, the condition, the circumstance.
Now ask yourself, what is the feeling of that thing being already true?
Not the feeling of wanting it, not the feeling of hoping for it, the feeling of its settled, present, permanent reality. Hold that feeling for 3 seconds. That feeling, right there, is the currency of the state akin to sleep. That is what you bring to the threshold. I want you to close your eyes if you are in a place where you are able to do so. Imagine now that you're lying in your bed. It is night. The room is dark and quiet. Your body is heavy with the approaching sleep. And in that heaviness, you allow a single scene to form. Not a long story, not a complex picture. One scene, one moment. A scene that could only exist if the thing you desire were already true. Perhaps it is a conversation. Someone saying to you the words that would only be spoken if the desire were fulfilled. Perhaps it is a texture in your hands, something you are holding that belongs to the reality you are choosing.
Perhaps it is simply a feeling
of ease, of completeness, of the quiet joy of a person who has nothing left to ask for in this area of their life. Feel the scene, do not watch it, feel it. Now, without grasping, without effort, allow yourself to fall asleep inside that feeling. Let the scene repeat gently like a lullaby. Let it be the last thing your consciousness holds before the deep takes you. This is the state akin to sleep. This is the technique. Now I must tell you something about repetition that most teachers leave out. One night is not enough. Not because the law is slow, the law is instantaneous. Not because consciousness needs convincing. Consciousness requires only a clear impression. One night is sometimes not enough because you, your habitual self, will spend the next morning reasserting the old assumption. You will look at the current circumstances and interpret them as evidence that the desire is not real. You will have a conversation that reinforces the old state. And by nightfall, the impression from the previous night has been partially overwritten. This is why persistence is the master key. Dare to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and persist every night, not with strain, not with desperation, with the calm, deliberate certainty of a person who has planted a seed and knows without any doubt that the harvest is coming. You are not wishing at the state akin to sleep. You are instructing consciousness. You are doing the most important thing a human being can do. You are choosing the state you will inhabit, and then you are sleeping in it. The bridge of insolence will take care of the rest. Neville himself described a period when he was stationed in the army against his will, longing to be discharged to return to his family. Night after night he entered the state akin to sleep and felt himself in his New York apartment. He felt the floor beneath his bare feet. He smelled the familiar air.
He inhabited completely the feeling of a man who was already home. And in a manner that no human planning could have arranged, within weeks, he received an honorable discharge. Unprecedented, unexplained by those who granted it. The bridge appeared because the assumption was held. So we have established what the state is, why it is powerful, and what the wish fulfilled actually feels like. Not a peak of excitement, but the settled certainty of possession. What remains now is the practical question. How precisely do you enter this state tonight? What do you do with a restless mind that will not be still? What do you do when the scene will not form? What do you do when you fall asleep before the practice is complete? I am going to answer every one of those questions right now. Let me give you the complete method, step by step. Step 1. Choose your scene before you lie down. Do not try to decide what scene to use as you are drifting to sleep. By that point, the rational mind is already loosening, and choosing a scene requires thought. Choose it in advance, in the daylight, before your bedroom. A single, simple, brief, imaginal act. One moment of fulfillment, no longer than 30 seconds when played out in imagination. The simpler the scene, the more powerful it is. A handshake, a phone call, 3 words spoken by the right person, the moment of signing, the feeling of the key in your hand. Choose one and fix it. Step 2. Prepare your body deliberately. Lie on your back or on your side, whichever allows you to relax completely. Take 3 slow breaths. With each exhale, allow the muscles of your face to go slack. Let your jaw soften. Let your eyes rest without movement in their sockets. The body is the gateway to the state. A tense body keeps the rational mind active. A relaxed body signals to consciousness, I am ready. Here is what most people do wrong. They wait for the state to come to them. They lie there waiting to feel drowsy enough. And in that waiting, the mind wanders, and they miss the window entirely. Do not wait for the state. Enter it deliberately, through deliberate relaxation. Step 3. Enter the scene, not watch it. As your body relaxes and the drowsiness begins to gather, bring your chosen scene to mind. And here is the critical instruction. Do not watch yourself in the scene. Be in it. Feel the floor under your feet if you are standing in it. Feel the temperature of the air. Hear the specific sound that would be present. Be the person in the scene, not the observer of the person. This is the difference between imagination as a spectator sport and imagination as the operant power. I am in the scene. The scene is now. The feeling is real. Step 4. Allow the looping. If you notice a scene beginning to repeat, do not stop it. This is exactly what you want. Allow the loop.
Let it play again and again softly, like a record turning in a darkened room. With each repetition, the impression deepens. With each loop, the assumption is pressed more firmly into consciousness. You do not need to stay awake through this. In fact, the ideal moment, the most powerful moment, is the precise instant when the scene is playing and sleep overtakes you. Falling asleep inside the imaginal act is the completion of the technique. Now, what about the restless mind? The mind will intrude. It will bring you tomorrow's concerns, yesterday's conversations, the evidence of current circumstances. When this happens, do not fight it. Do not try to suppress it. Simply return gently to the scene, the way you would return a candle to a dark room after a draft, without drama, without judgment, without frustration. The practice is not the absence of distraction. The practice is the returning. And what if you fall asleep before completing the scene? You have still accomplished something. The impression has begun. The direction has been set. Come back to it tomorrow night. Persist. This is not a one-time event. It is a nightly practice, a way of inhabiting the 4D, a habit of consciousness that becomes, over time, the most natural thing in your life. Let us practice it now together. Soften your body wherever you are. Let your shoulders drop. Let your hands rest open. Bring to mind the desire that has been in your heart, not as a problem to be solved, as a reality that already exists in the 4D, waiting only for your assumption to crystallize it into the world you walk through. Now bring your chosen scene, one moment, one feeling. You are there. You are in it, not watching, being. Someone you love is beside you, and there is no distance between you anymore, only the warmth of the thing fulfilled. Or the numbers on the screen are exactly what you asked for, and you feel not surprise, but the quiet naturalness of it, as though it could only ever have been this way. Or the doctor speaks, and his words are the words of confirmation, and your body receives them as a truth it has always known. Feel it, not with strain, with gentle certainty. I am already this. This is the state I sleep in tonight. This is the instruction I give to consciousness. This is the assumption I persist in, now and every night, until the bridge of incidents has brought it fully into the world I see. Sleep now in this. Let it be so. The school teacher I told you about at the beginning of this video, the woman who changed 3 things in 7 months, told me something I have never forgotten. She said the hardest part was not learning the technique. The hardest part was allowing herself to believe that something so simple could be so powerful. She had expected a ceremony. She had expected effort, difficulty, perhaps suffering, in proportion to the magnitude of what she was asking for. Instead, she found a quiet practice, a nightly habit, a few moments before sleep, when she chose, deliberately, persistently, to live in the end. And consciousness, which requires no ceremony, which does not reward effort, but responds to state, rewarded her assumption. I tell you from my own experience, the law is no respecter of persons. It does not require you to be a mystic. It does not require you to understand it fully before it works. It requires only that you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and persist in that assumption until the crystallization comes. Man's imagination is the only redemptive power in the world. not the only hopeful thing, the only redemptive thing. Imagination creates reality, not as metaphor, as fact. What you desire, you already are in eternity. Claim it tonight. Tonight, before you sleep, enter the state akin to sleep with your chosen scene. One moment, one feeling, the settled certainty of the wish already fulfilled. Persist, not once, not twice, every night, until the 3D world has no choice but to rearrange itself to conform to the assumption you are holding in the 4D. The most important conversation you will ever have is the one you hold with yourself in that space before sleep. Make it the conversation of a person who has already arrived. If this teaching has served you, stay with this channel. The next video continues where this one ends. I tell you from my own experience, you are already the operant power. Use it tonight. Close.